Hey guys, how's it going? It's your boy M.K.S here. Today I wanted to talk about some ideas I've been thinking about for a while. Hope my voice is clear enough. I know I don't always have the most masculine voice or whatever, or loud voice, and I can be a bit nervous in my videos. But the reason why I'm standing up for this video, hopefully my back won't be injured, but is because I want to talk about like fitness, and I thought it would be more appropriate to instead of my other videos where I'm sitting down. I thought it'd be appropriate more to stand up because I'm talking about keeping yourself active and keeping yourself fit. Now, what I thought of is saying that I'm not a professional or an expert, so these are just my own personal opinions, views, thoughts, ideas and plans, or suggestions, really. Suggestions or recommendations for potential ideas, basically, to keep yourself fit. So what you do with this information really is entirely up to you. Obviously, I'm a great believer that you're accountable. Your wealth and your health, especially, you're accountable for. Only you can really change those things. Only you can take advice or ignore certain advice or take certain advice, like peer pressure, which makes you, like when you're younger, people getting you to smoke or drink or take drugs. That's up to you to take or listen to that advice. And it's similar with what I think would be better advice. So I think it's up to you what advice you take, what advice you don't take, or what you do. So I'm not going to be held accountable, hopefully, for the people who perhaps listen to this video and don't take the advice and say it doesn't work. Whereas some other people hopefully will listen to it, take it on board, and maybe it will help them. I'm sure these ideas, to put it simply, opinions, views, thoughts, plans, ideas, whatever you want to call them, I'm just going to call them ideas from now on to make it simpler, to make it more easier, keeping it super simple. As I say, as an acronym, it's KISS, keep it super simple, to put it politely. And yeah, I'm just going to call them ideas to make it simpler, as I say, more easier. And these are really easy techniques to follow. So I hope they'll benefit someone out there or some people out there who will listen to them. And I think it'd be great if they help as many people as possible. So anyway, this intro has been quite long, so I'm going to crack on with some of my ideas or suggestions. I'll be thinking about them, so I hope I don't stumble too much or forget what I was going to say or anything like that. So I'm not the most in shape, as I say, or I'm not an expert or anything like that. I'm just saying what I love walking. So I'm talking about a lot about walking and all that sort of thing. So I'm a little bit out of shape myself, so I'm hoping to keep myself active and busy and get myself back into shape and things like that. So anyway, here goes. So number one, I think you've really got to change. Again, these are all my personal opinions or ideas or whatever, but I think you've got to change some of your have an open, if you like, or a change of mind, heart, and soul from some of the things. I think if you keep doing the same thing, you're going to get the same results. So if you're not happy with your life or your results, your wealth, your health, or whatever, I think it's really important to make those changes. If you're happy with what you're receiving or what your outcomes are, I think you should keep on with the same incomes. If you know, or your input. So whatever your input, not income, sorry. So whatever your input is, I think that's going to reflect on your output. So if you're unhappy with your output, I think you should put more of a different input and change things and experiment and see what works for you and what makes you better or what makes you feel better. Whereas obviously if you are happy with it, I think you should continue what you're doing. But I think it's really to change. If you're not happy with with your weight, whether it's on your stomach or whatever else, or your muscles or whatever else, I think you have to make those changes and change your mind, heart, and soul to actually you're prepared to do exercise and or whatever and keep yourself moving and not sit down too long or whatever. And I know I do a lot when I sit down and watch YouTube videos myself, but I think you really got to change some of those habits and say, again, in my opinion, and to say that, excuse me, base all these things I say basically on, by the way, on my opinion, on it being my opinion. So I could be right or wrong, or I could be right or wrong. So it's up to you whether you agree or not, or what you will do with your own action in your own life. I think I lost my chain of thought, but I think that covers everything. So basically, for point one, so it's like changing your mind, heart, soul to actually say, instead of saying I'm too busy or I'm working, like I imagine if I say to if I had the guts to even say to some of my relatives, like uncles or aunts or anyone else, I think you should be more active or whatever. I think that they would probably say, oh, it's easy for you to say because you're unemployed and I go to work. But I think there are things that you can do, what I'm going to talk about, which I think you could do whether you work or not. Simple little steps, and they're very easy to do in my opinion. Even someone like me can do it. So if I can do it, probably anyone can. Secondly, again, I think changing your diet, or the other thing is I talk a lot about walking. So I think another thing is to find out different exercises and maybe experiment and see which exercise works better for you. And I think you have to do it over time. So you can't really say, I tried it once and it didn't work, or I did it for a day and it didn't make me lose weight, or I did it for a day and didn't build muscle. I think you have to do it for maybe like a week, and probably a lot longer than a week, like a month or whatever. If you do it over a certain period of time, it's going to be like, if you give it a month, or at least if you give it at least a month, I think you're going to see some sort of effect, hopefully. Or you can probably try something else if it doesn't work. But if you try it for a day and then say, oh, it didn't really work, or I didn't really fancy it, goes back to point one, like with the attitude, your mind, heart, and soul towards exercising, keeping yourself busy, keeping yourself active, and doing those sorts of things. So I lost my train of thought. The third point I was going to say is, like, I think of an exercise that, which I think as an idea or suggestion could help a lot of people, which is, let's say, like, if you work as a teacher or something like that, if you go to work, obviously you could say, I'm really busy. A lot of people say, I'm really busy. I don't have time to walk. Like, if you're unemployed, you have a lot more time to walk. But if you work as a teacher or whatever, you could, like, when you go to your, when you park outside your house, like, a lot of people, I think, to me, it seems like they want to park right outside their house or as close as possible. So do as little as walking as possible. And people seem to be like thinking they're too busy, and which they may well be, but I think a lot of that is psychological. Like, it's like, you might say, I need to park as close to my house as possible. Like, some people seem to want us to park next to their settee or whatever, or next to the chair, so that they don't have to do much walking. So I think to change, because I love walking so much, like, for me it's quite easier to do. But I know people will say they're busy, and I think most people are, but I think these are quite simple steps. So in my opinion, it's like, if you can park 10 steps, just 10 steps further away from your house, or if you do more than that, it's much better. And also when you go to work, like, as say, if you're a teacher or whatever, you park about 10 steps further away from where you work. Just by doing that, then you're going to work and obviously going back. So you can do the same distance to and back. So each day you're taking 14 more steps. So if you count that over a period of a week, say you work 5 days a week, you're going to take 200 more steps. I already worked this out because I thought about it quite a lot. So you're going to take that much each week. So obviously over a month, you times it by 6. So I think I worked out, it's like 1,200 more steps each month. So even though someone says, like, I'm too busy because I'm working, you can still, like, kind of, well, my job means I can't go for, excuse me, I can't go for walks a lot, but you still, you can do simple little things like that, and it will add how many steps you can take, excuse me, over, you're adding how many steps you take. So I think that'll make it, that's a very simple little exercise that you could do to take more steps each day. I'm aware this video has been quite long, so I'm going to try and crack on with it. Number 4, so I think little things like that, if you park as far away from wherever you need to be as possible, so that you're doing more walking more, doing more steps, rather. Lost my train of thought. So when you are, I mean, if you really could wake up earlier and things like, you could actually walk or cycle to work, and I think that's even better. Number 5, again, like, maybe finding more exercises which work and experimenting, see which ones help you to lose more weight or reach your goals which you want to work towards. Number 6, I think whenever you can, you should try and walk. I think a lot of people, it becomes too tempting to, it goes back to point 1, like your habits. So when you sit down, I think it can become too tempting to relax and sit down for too long. And then I think that makes people more, I think that affects your habits, where it comes too much more like a routine to actually sit down for a long time, and that sort of thing. Number 7, again, none of these really are things that I would say that you have to do. Obviously, they're up to you, and I think I can't guarantee that they're going to make you better off. But I think if you try them and you do them over a certain amount of time, it will make you better off. I'm sure it will help you at least a little bit to lose weight, or to be more active, or basically feel better as well. These things, I think, as well as helping your physical health, I think they will help your mental health. Number 8, again, I think whenever you can walk, I think you should. Like, I think again, developing those habits where you try and keep active and keep yourself moving and going as much as you possibly can. And number 9, sometimes like writing on paper or online or whatever, your goals. Like if someone wants to write in the comment section or whatever their goals that they want to work towards, and that sort of thing, it helps you to visualize and work towards those goals as well. And if you find me on Facebook, you can you can write to me. I'd love in the future if someone said, by listening to your advice or your ideas, you can improve. Sorry, by listening to your advice, I've improved my activity, and I've got myself more active and I'm more productive. And number 10, this is going to be a really controversial idea, to put it simply. And I know I probably mentioned this before, but like my least favorite saying is when people say I'm older than you, or respect your elders. Like people say, excuse me, I'm older than you, respect your elders, or they say, do what I say and don't answer back, or don't question or don't answer back, or things like that. And I think that's a really bad, in my opinion, it's the only saying I can think of that I don't really like. Probably borders hate, really, that saying, because I think it makes, if I dare say, I think it makes older people more lazy and hypocritical, because it's too tempting to sit down and say, bring things for me or do things for me. Whereas I think that those sayings should be replaced. Like instead of saying I'm older than you, therefore do things for me, or I'm older than you, respect your elders, and things like that. I think people should change that saying to I'm older than you, therefore I will lead by example, therefore I will keep myself active. I'll be the first to use good manners and say please, appreciate, thank you, and things like that. I appreciate what you do, and that sort of thing. And I think it should be people should be the first to say I'm going to keep myself active, and if I want something, I'm going to go and get it. And if I need help, I'll ask for help. Anyway, hope that made some sense. I didn't quite cover it quite as well as I like, but hopefully I've given you some tips which might be able to help. Please try them out and let me know what you think. Or after a month or so, it's going to take a while, but after a month, like in June or July, we're already in March. I nearly said May then. We're already in March, so in April or May or even June or July, whatever. If you let me know in a month or so, or 2 months or 3 months or whatever, maybe even if you give it 6 months and like try it, really go for it. I'd love to know what you gained, if anything. So hope it wasn't too cringeworthy or too bad. Anyway, I'm out. Peace and love.